Hello, beautiful muses. Welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot and a new tarot reading for you, which I'm excited for this one, connecting us to the new Celtic season. So the Celtic Wheel of the Year has 8 seasons that align with the solstices and equinoxes, and then the midpoint between each of those also has a season. So they are 1.5 month or 6-week seasons, and the more I've sort of tuned into those, the more I've noticed certain sort of themes that are pretty specific that come through during each of those. So this one we are going to look at Mabon, which is what we call in modern day the Autumn Equinox. So September 21st, this will come out initially a few days before that, just for a little extra time to kind of sink into the energy. So this is a time when we really enter into at least the weather of autumn energy. So it's, the leaves really start to, at least when you live in a place that has 4 seasons, and I'm definitely in the northern hemisphere, which I think the majority of my followers probably are as well. So in the northern hemisphere, and if you live in a place that experiences seasons, it's when the leaves start turning colors and falling from the branches. So it's a time to start noticing like things that we might want to let go of. It's a time to start slowing down a little bit, noticing some transitions taking place, as well as like allowing in a little bit more of a communal spirit. So this is a season that sits in the west of the Celtic wheel, which relates to water and the feminine principle. So there's wisdom there and intuition there, but also going down into the depths, into the dark of things, the rich soil of things, the regeneration. So when, all the stuff that's dying, all of nature that's dying is being reabsorbed into the earth. So we get taken down into kind of cycle and regenerate sort of the earth material. The deck that I'm using is the Season of the Witch here, and they are this series of decks by Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz. They have intention to do a deck for each of these 8 seasons. Currently, I think they have 4 of them or so. So I've been using, I've been doing a reading for the seasons that they have decks for, but I think I'm going to just start doing each of the seasons to help us really get in a flow of this Celtic wheel. I just think it's a special one. So I'll just find other decks to use for the seasons they don't have a deck for. But they do have one for this one. So September 21st through to approximately November 1st is this period of time that we're looking at. Just sort of the energy of the season for you, what it's going to bring up, what themes may come up for you. Yeah, great time. So some of the focuses the guidebook brings up are agriculture, in terms of it's like a harvesting time, ancestral healing, balance and transition, concentration, endings and mourning, goals and accomplishments, gratitude, grounding, healing and self-care, planning and preparation, sharing, and wisdom. Okay, so we are going to pick 4 piles to choose from. Okay, this one. So root vegetables is the first pile. Autumn Equinox, which is the date that this season starts on. Oops. Peppers. So funny, I knew that one was going to come out for some reason. And I have not read the description for pepper, so I don't know what it means. I just have seen that card keeps coming up when I pick up this deck, and so in my head I was like, I bet it comes out. It keeps wanting to come out. And Scarecrow. Okay, so let's take a closer look at each of these so you can tune into them, help you with your pile selection. So pile 1 is root vegetables. Pile 2, Autumn Equinox. Pile 3, peppers. Pile 4 is Scarecrow. All right, so gaze over these 4 piles, feel into whichever one is really drawing you in. This is one that it would be fine if more than one pile drew you in. Sometimes we have a lot going on in a season. Yeah, and whichever of those are kind of magnetizing you in, those have a message for you. All right, you can find your pile in the timestamps in the description, and I will see you in your readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your Mabon reading. So sort of an energetic check, themes that may be appearing for you from the time of autumn equinox, so September 21st, through approximately November 1st, maybe a few days into November 2. So you guys picked root vegetables, and it says, in those hidden places where most feared to go is where the most nourishment is waiting for you to behold. Ooh, very scorpionic card. So I'm going to read a little more from the guidebook for this, and then we'll do a few extra oracle cards as well as a few tarot cards. Let's get kind of a snapshot of this energy. Okay, keywords: digging for nourishment or gold, considering other resources, going where others might avoid. Your higher self chose this card because you need guidance on how to dig deeper for the resources and nourishment you need for your situation. Some of the world's most precious and desired resources, such as diamonds, gold, truffles, and agarwood, are very rare and expensive. A very rare and expensive fragrance made from a particular molded wood are found in dirty, muddy places, and some of the most nourishing foods are found growing below the ground. Root vegetables such as carrots, beets, and garlic are powerful superfoods that are known for their healing and restorative properties. Consider whether or not you have a complete understanding of your desires. You may need to consider enrolling in a class to learn more information, or perhaps you have also pulled Campfire, card 6. You might seek out a mentor who can offer additional guidance. In a relationship, you could ask more questions rather than assuming you know someone's intentions. Do your research and review the fine print carefully when signing any contracts or before taking advantage of an opportunity. You might be surprised to find there are better options available. If you're feeling stuck, it may be time to think outside the box and look beyond what is immediately in front of you. What may seem like a dirty or even unsavory person or place could be just what you need. Very cool. So yeah, this is definitely sort of like digging under the surface of things. Don't take things at face value this season. There may be more potent, more nourishing, more empowering resources, choices, options, information. If you do a little bit more digging, if you're willing to do some dirty work, if you're willing to look under the hood of things, there's potency to be found, is what I feel. If you just go with things at face value this season, maybe that will end up being fine, but you'll kind of have the sense of like you've missed out on something. Whereas if you take some time to be a little bit more curious, drawn into mysteries, paying attention to what's alluring to you, which is the thing that like creates a thread that we follow, willing to look where things don't look so pretty, I think there are some surprises that will feel much more enriching to you. Very cool. Okay, let's get another Celtic wisdom card to get a little more context. Maybe this will give us like point a little bit at what this like more specifically is speaking to. Cerduin, which is the kind of like the wise woman, the hag, I think. Transformation, knowledge, magic. And with the cauldron here, it's like stewing things, alchemizing things, letting things simmer, letting things marinate, letting the flavors of things meld, is like giving things time. So part of that, like going up under the surface, not taking things at face value here, is including like also slowing down, letting things marinate a little, letting things have some time to kind of blend their essences and create something a little bit more magical as well. So this is almost twofold to me. I'm getting the sense that there is the potential for you to really come into some power in this season if you're willing to do a little dirty work, look under the surface of things, but also cultivating some patience and letting things kind of allowing like things that you're mixing to sort of have time to marinate and meld their complexities together, their properties together. Really, like big epiphanies as well as transformations can come from this. So, okay, last oracle card. Let's get a Priestess of Light who shed a little light on all of this as well. Friendship, support, fun, unity, play. So I do associate this season with communal time of like sharing, whether it's sharing food, sharing stories, sharing your hearts, whatever it is. So something that may be important in both of these things of like looking under the surface of things and letting allowing space and time for things to kind of come together may all relate to themes of friendship, of groups, of community. So are there, like just thinking about like, are there things you are wanting to participate with in life a little bit more? And are there some groups you could join that would help in that? Maybe do a little bit of digging. Don't just take the first one that comes across your path. Ask around a little bit. Ask friends you already have. There's something about linking maybe to a new, into some new friendships, some new groups that could be very empowering for you, and that will help you to kind of alchemize and transform all these things within you that you've been stewing and marinating and whatnot. This is also, I believe, not taking things about friends you currently already have that are in your life, not taking certain things going on with them as at face value. There may be some things going on with friends that you need to get under the surface. You may have to ask some difficult questions about to really get to the heart of what's really going on, either with them or something that you need to know that they are kind of holding back. So it may be about tending to their heart, but it also may be about, information or things they know or have that they're not just willing to offer up immediately for some reason. So many ways that could play out. Maybe all of these things will be pertinent. Okay, let's get a few tarot cards. Oops, those two just fell right out. So we've got Knight of Bows, Six of Bows, Eight of Stones, the Forest Lovers. Let's do one more. Not too many. This one wants to come out. Eight of Vessels. Okay. I believe bows in this deck are let's see, Vessel, Stone, trying to see the four and arrows. Okay, so the bows are the equivalent to fire here, or wands, I guess you would say. Okay, so in relation to friendship here, I mean, there's something very, very productive going on here, some success going on, some skillfulness being acquired, some, a time to really like hunker down and practice something, not assuming, going back to this root vegetable card, assuming that you sort of like, can rest on your laurels with certain skills and that they're good enough is sort of like not what this season wants you to be thinking. It's like there's something about like really digging in and practicing and going deep with certain skills you've been working on. You'll find new magic there if you really focus, you really give some time, space, and energy to working on something. You'll really find some victory. You'll really find some movement that will feel so much more potent than where you start the season, and will bring some transformation and new knowledge and some deep wisdom to you. The Lovers to me is definitely speaking to that friendship thing. It doesn't feel as like romantic to me. I definitely, the Lovers in general, I always feel as finding like your higher self, being able to choose things, admire things, want things based not on appearance, but how they make you feel. And so that may be something coming up around friendship, is there may be some shifts coming in. There may be some friendships that you feel have been based on maybe some shallow criteria, potentially on your part, but you're like coming into a deeper part of yourself. And so certain shallow friendships I don't see any like, drama with this. I just feel like there are maybe some friendships that are falling away, and it's okay because your higher self is rising up, and it's going to lead you to those groups that really connect you into skills you are acquiring and a certain deeper purpose for your life. So it's like a new energetic alignment in what you're trying to do with your life and the types of groups and friendships you bring in that kind of support that alignment as well. Yeah, really cool. So that is what I see for your Mabon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it Mabon, is how I've been saying it. your 6 weeks coming up. Yeah, beautiful. Just, I don't see it as like, you know, it can be hard to let go of old things, but I don't see it as this dramatic thing. I just see it as like time of life, new chapter, different things coming in terms of friendships and sort of aligning much more deeply to who you are and where you're going in life. And it's just sort of like something that is necessary. And I think maybe that you've been craving, and it's not like friends that you kind of start to disappear a little bit or like gone forever. I think these are friends that will become acquaintances still, that you'll see at parties or see at events or something and be like, hey, haven't seen you so long, what's going on? You know, like no bad blood there. It's just kind of, you know, life moved on type of thing. But there can be a little bit of, you know, grief about that, even though you're excited and ready for kind of a new energy there. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate the likes and shares and subscribes, and definitely always very grateful to see kind and thoughtful comments. Definitely makes me feel more connected to people on the other side of the camera. So yeah, I will see you guys in future readings, and I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. All right, see ya. Hello, pile 2. So let's take a look at some of the energy coming in for you for this 6-week Celtic season of Mabon, Autumn Equinox, or September 21st to about November 1st. And you guys picked Autumn Equinox, which is the date this season begins, the kind of threshold of the season. And the description under the title says, nothing is whole without the acceptance and acknowledgement of all. Okay, let's read even more from the guidebook for this. Okay, so keywords: temperance, balance, renewal. Your higher self chose this card because the autumn equinox is a wonderful time to consider where you might be experiencing imbalance within your life. Are there ways you're living to the extreme? Are there areas in your life that have been overlooked or perhaps forgotten about entirely? Typically, things such as spa days, time off, more rest, and more time spent with friends are the first things put on the back burner, but it can just as easily be creative expression, having new experiences, cleaning your space, forgetting to pay bills, or even being your best self at work. If you have been in a period of extreme action, now is a good time to begin entering a phase of rest, renewal, and passiveness. Attempting to force your way forward may actually be the reason why you're not receiving the results you're hoping for. Likewise, if you have felt stagnant or are falling victim to the extremes of laziness, receiving this card is your sign to renew your motivation to prevent anything else from falling through the cracks. Balance is not just related to physical action. Balance of the mind is also a worthwhile cause. Consider whether you've experienced a period of pessimism and can use a more joyful outlook on life. The opposite may also be true. Are you using positive thinking and speech to bypass what you're truly feeling? Beautiful. So this card really connects into the core basic of what this season is about. Really finding what that balance is that makes you feel like life is beautiful and elegant to you. And there's many dimensions of where we may need to establish better balance. But in general, it is a season to start slowing down. And in that slow down is a great time to kind of weed out the superfluous. What are you doing in your days that just is no longer resonant with you or doesn't feel as important as it used to feel? And did it just become sort of habit? Like, it's a time to examine those things as we slow down and make less room in our days for more things. We naturally start to realize and make those shifts and adjustments and kind of cut some cords and allow certain things to fall away from our lives, from our schedules, from our minds, from our hearts, whatever it may be. Like, maybe there's people in your life that make you feel imbalanced. Maybe your nutrition isn't balanced. It can be so many different things. Or maybe you actually have more time and space for certain things, and maybe you grew up with a family dog and now you're out on your own and you've always wanted to have a dog again, and you're realizing, like, I actually have some time and space for that. Maybe this is the time, like, that would bring my life some kind of balance I feel has been missing. Whatever, it may even be adding something in like that. But usually if the adding something in is a little bit more about a relational thing or a heart thing, versus like the loads and roles you're carrying. But yeah, it's all about kind of really slowing down and paying attention to what is ready to be let go of, what kind of harmonizing and relationships would bring a sense of balance to your life as well. Okay, let's look at another kind of Celtic spirit card to get a little more context here. Portal, change, gateway, new beginnings. Ooh, so awesome. So whatever is becoming apparent to you about where your balance needs some work and where you need to kind of revamp something to feel more balanced and feel more at peace with your balance. It's funny that I picked up on something new coming in, because that felt so counterintuitive to me. I was like, this isn't about adding things. This is a season about letting things go. But for some reason, I feel like I connected to that. I felt like balance in this case, maybe that there's something missing. And this is bringing up a new beginning. So something you need to add in, and I'm going to stick with what I said before. I feel like this is in the relational domain. So a new love interest coming in, a new friendship coming in, a new pet coming in, something connected to your heart and that has relationship and care connected to it. I think there's a change coming there and a new beginning coming there. And I don't think it's going to be expected, because portal energy to me is like, you don't really often know where a portal is going to take you, Portal energy is like a dimension shift. So I think this is going to be a little bit out of the blue for you in some ways, but at the same time, I think there's something you've been longing for, that would really, really help bring some peace into a certain balance within. About something new coming in. It feels like a new person or a new animal to me. And it doesn't have to be a love relationship. It can be all sorts of reasons why new people come into our lives. Okay, let's pick a Priestess of Light card, see if this sheds any more light on what this could be. And it's possible that you may need to let some things go also to create space for the new beginning. So I think it's like twofold. Like, how can you create the balance you need by letting a few things go that create the space for something new coming in? Abundance, fortune, wealth, and plenty. I think that's beautiful. I think that whatever you are willing to kind of let go of this season, and then the space and that new kind of being that comes into your life, it's going to create a whole new energetic in you, and your balance will really sort of heal itself and come into like a really right, pleasing, beautiful space for you. And because of that, it's going to draw in more abundance than you have been experiencing. So creating a new sense of balance through letting things go and someone or something new coming into your life, it just changes the energetics of your balance, and that is, and how the result of that really attracts, just like more gratitude in your heart, which attracts more abundance. So focus on these changes, whatever you let go and whatever new thing kind of enters. Focus on how you can feel grateful for those shifts and for the new sense of balance they instill, because that's going to be the key for some abundance to start being more attracted to you. Okay, let's get a few tarot cards. Oops. 4 of Arrows. King of Vessels. Let's see. I think I want to do 5 cards. The Wheel, right under Portal, interesting. The Pole Star, beautiful. One more. Oops. Okay, and 6 of Stones. Okay, so with the 4 of Arrows here, and especially with the way this image is coming, the image that's used on this particular 4 card, I do think there are certain things that you've hit the wall with, that you're done with, that it's time to let go. And by allowing your schedule and yourself to be a little bit slower, this won't have to be such a conscious, deliberate thing. By being slower, taking more rest, the result will be certain things falling away that you're ready to have fall away. I think it will just be kind of like a natural thing, nothing you have to make like a conscious choice about. Just be conscious of letting yourself rest, and what doesn't fit in your schedule when that takes place will just go, and I think you're ready for it. And then we have Knight of Vessels. The way it's going to, like, the new balance coming in is a little bit more, allows for more emotional flow and emotional kind of drive and emotional connection to life. Like a bit more emotionally driven to take part of life and take action in life. And it's a little bit that new balance that gets restored as you kind of rest and take some things off of your plate is, just like a little bit artistic, flowy, sensitive, but in a beautiful way, kind of go with the flow type of thing that feels nice, that feels pleasing and beautiful to you. And then we have the Wheel right under Portal. So whatever, something new coming in here. And then the Pole Star again, just showing also like a new hope, a new vision coming in. It will be, it will alter your life. So this is, more than just this 6 weeks and the general kind of energy coming in. Something is happening. Whoever it is that comes in, animal or person, it is bringing a pretty big shift to the trajectory of your life. What you focus on as your kind of guiding light, I think is going to shift a little, and you may kind of change your trajectory a little bit because of this. And then we end with the 6 of Stones, exploitation, which exploitation does not have to be a bad thing. It's certainly just like knowing, you know, it's part of a polarity that I see, exploration versus exploitation. We have to seek and adventure and figure out what we want, who we are, whatever, before we can exploit it, meaning, benefit from it, profit from it, whatever. And there's something that happens with this shift taking place where you're able to move away from that exploration of seeking, of like something's missing. This is like that missing puzzle piece for you that clicks in, that helps you kind of tip over to the scales of like, oh, now I know how to exploit my talents, exploit my abilities, exploit, and I'm using exploit in a positive sense here, exploit something in your life in a positive way that can now, bring abundance into you, bring money into you. So there may be like whatever the relationship is that's coming in, it may be more of like a business association or a colleague in the work sphere. It may connect something to that helps you understand how to better exploit your gifts and talents to bring in more abundance. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, all right. I mean, that's a pretty cool reading. Really like a big shift taking place for you guys this season. In just a little 6 weeks, a lot going on. So, yeah, good luck with that. I hope this resonated. If so, I always appreciate the likes and shares and subscribes, and definitely always grateful to see kind and thoughtful comments as well. And I hope I see you in future readings. And have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your Mabon reading. All about kind of some energy coming in for you for this season that runs between September 21st to a few days into November. It's about a 6-week period. You guys picked the Peppers card, and I'm very intrigued as to what this card is about. As I noted in the intro, it keeps sort of like turning up in the deck for me, not when I've been like choosing cards to like read for myself or anything, but like just when I've held the deck and explored it, like, I don't know, it just keeps coming up. And so I knew it was going to come up, and so now it did, and now I'm like, okay, so what is this Peppers about? It keeps trying to get my attention, and obviously it wants your attention. And I can't help but noticing in the back here there's moths and a banishing tincture type of thing. Anyway, okay, so the words under here say, be fierce about the ways in which you protect yourself. Allies await. Ooh, allies await. Okay, I'm going to read more about this from the guidebook. Keywords: breakthrough, protection, respect, allies. Ooh, I love that. Your higher self chose this card because not everyone can handle the sting of hot peppers and will go out of their way to avoid them at all costs. The heat is too overwhelming and feels like too much of an effort in pursuit of a great meal. In a strange way, boundaries are a lot like peppers. Some people will try to step on you and take advantage of you and are only willing to be in your personal orbit as long as you agree with them. However, the moment you begin to demand respect, you might find many people simply cannot handle it when you serve them a little heat. The Peppers card is here to confirm that anyone or anything you lose by establishing boundaries will be replaced by people who can stand your heat. You will go on to find people who understand your need for respect and won't try to take advantage of you, and will listen in earnest without dismissing your opinions because they don't align with theirs. Establishing boundaries also helps build confidence. The more you practice saying no, the more you take back your power from those to still or stamp it out. Some believe when eating very hot peppers, it's better to keep going than to stop, because stopping makes the heat more intense, whereas continuing allows you to slowly desensitize. Habits are no different. They are difficult at first, but with time you'll begin to expect results, and will take no time for those who don't offer it. There's a protection spell here. I guess I'll read it because not all of these have like that little extra thing. And maybe some of you will find it interesting and actually do this. Wear gloves to protect your hands. Write on a bay leaf what it is you need protection from. Then make a slit in a red hot pepper and stuff the bay leaf inside. Ooh, that's so cool. Place the pepper in a mason jar and pour in enough honey to cover it. Seal the jar and place it in a cool, dark space with no direct sunlight. Keep the jar for 13 days, then dispose of the contents however you want. While putting this spell together, keep your mind focused on your intention. You can repeat the words or phrase you wrote on the bay leaf as often as you like. Very cool. Okay, so this to me is you stepping into your power. You kind of standing up and being like, I am worth taking up space. My heart is worth being seen, kind of coming into a space of like being more willing to be seen, which means being more willing to be respected as well. And that means some people who are used to certain ways of you being and certain ways that they could, I don't want to put like a negative spin on it, but just certain ways of, them being able to take up more space because you don't take up as much space around them. Good riddance. When you take up more space, people unwilling to share the light, which are, people who are selfish, may, as we saw here, they may banish from your life. So I see this not so much as like you needing to protect yourself. I feel like you're the pepper, like you've come into your new boundaries. Like there's something you're starting to understand about your boundaries. And now, like as this season comes on, which, helps us to kind of step into our power. It's a season of, another thing that the book didn't say, but that I relate to this season is like of really understanding our potency. And I think you're understanding your potency, your power a little more, and you're willing to kind of let it be your new borders, let it be seen, let it be felt, let it be taking up space. And it's naturally just going to create some shifts in the types of people who are around you. And I think for the better, for like a lot of the better, you're going to draw in people who have a lot more respect for you because you're showing your heat, you're respecting yourself, you're honoring your boundaries. So you'll draw in people who do that for themselves in a way where they respect when other people do it for themselves, where there's like, yeah. So, all right, let's take a look at another Celtic spirit card to see if we can get any more specific context here. The Green Man, nature, connection, and source. Ooh, I love this. I think that you are feeling much more connected to yourself as you come into this season, and much more connected to your true essence, your true nature. And because of that, the new respect and boundaries and willingness to kind of put your heat and heart out there you're connecting to source better because of this, because you are just like willing to stand in your power, willing to own your power, willing to own your respect. And something about that just like opens up a new level of being able to connect to source, like connecting to source in a new way, in a more empowered way, a more skillful way, actually, is what I'm feeling. Not just kind of like leaning on spirit and source for guidance and protection, but like really coming in as a co-creator and being like, hey, this is what I want. This is where I'm going. This is what I need. This is the purpose, just like more direct and confident in where you're feeling inspired, and source responding to that with its own directness, instead of like, maybe previously coming from sort of a passive place, then source meeting it with a little passivity. Now it's like you're being met with directness from source, because you are putting direct intention and asks into it as well. And you're able to do that because you're just so much more connected to yourself and your nature. So really beautiful. Okay, let's get a Priestess of Light. Sacred breath and sound, life force and communication. I love that. I mean, this is all about truly coming into your power. I think, the potency that this season holds, you're meeting it this round, this year. When you meet it, you're a very different person than you were in all the rounds before. I do just feel pretty strongly like a lot of you are coming from having been somewhat passive before, and something over the past year has helped you really kind of step into a stronger sense of yourself. And so then when you meet this season of potency, this round, it really like clicks something in, and it's like your life force just knows it's alive, and it just starts filling yourself with breath, being present to the exquisiteness of breath, and just being much more present to the subtle of sound, life energetics, subtle communication. Just a new aliveness. Connecting to that heat. It's just like a new life force, a new aliveness, like really turning on in this season. It's been doing the work, the foundations of like getting it together and understanding how to turn that life force on, but you've needed this season to actually flip the switch. And the switch is getting flipped, and it's like a whole new quality of life force really coming in for you. Beautiful. Wow, really powerful, you guys. Okay, let's end with a few tarot cards to get a little more of a story here. So balance. Nine of bows. Oops. Hold on, your card fell to the floor. Okay. Three of bows. Beautiful. Okay, let's get two more. Oh my goodness, your cards are just falling to the floor. You actually got three more cards, so we'll just take them. I might have to adjust these though to get them all in. Okay, the Sun card coming out. Ace of Arrows. Wow, amazing. And Two of Arrows. Beautiful. Okay, so balance. I'm trying to remember the 14th card of the major arcana. What is that in the normal arcana? Is it justice? I think it's justice, which interestingly, we begin and end with scales then. Yeah, I think you are allowing your yang side to turn on, and it's creating a new balance. I think you've been, many of you, a little bit weighted in the yin, in a more of a receptive place, a little bit of a passive place, but also a dark, potent place. But needing that yang energy to come in to be more like assertive and clear with things. And I think something about that that's like the work you've done over the past year or 6 months or something, where something about that is clicking. Like, I need to be more direct, more clear, more assertive about things. And you're starting to see like this new balance being established. And then we've got 9 of bows and 3 of bows. And look, we have the snakes coiling, wrapping around each other on this person's garment, the way that the balance card sort of has. This one's a little bit more like that Kundalini rising feel, but it's kind of the same thing, the red and the white. Yeah, so you've done some reflection, so 9 of bows, you've done some reflection. You've seen the bigger picture of why you've needed to allow your yang or more assertive, clear side, direct side to kind of the importance and how it has been missing as you've kind of done some reflection. And and I felt that like it's integrated. I think you're already coming here like this is already integrated in you, but this is the season where your ship comes in, where you start to see external evidence of the energy of the universe and the energy of your external world starting to meet that internal shift that you've already done. And it's because this season is like, that power switch. This is a season that was needed to really turn that on for the external world to respond to this new kind of heat and directness you've really cultivated. And you are now, this season, literally you got turned on. You get turned on this season. You start taking up space. You start wielding your heart, your directness, your creativity and command and courage and life force out into the world, and you're on. And then we've got Ace of Arrows and 2 of Arrows. So there's like a progression that happens after that. It creates some really direct lines to something, direct focus, open channels to certain things that your mind is starting to focus on. But I do think it is going to bring up choices for you. I do think that the way that the universe is responding is like, there's been so much like backlogged respect and pay due to you that all of a sudden it's like everything starts coming at you, and it's like you have to get your mind really clear on what's important to you right now, because you have some decisions to make, and those decisions should be made from what feels right. She's blindfolded. What feels right, what feels fair, what feels beautiful, instead of what looks that way, what feels that way. So yeah, getting your mind clear, but then dropping into your heart to make any decisions that you're having to make, because I think there's just like a lot as you start shining your light, your heat, and taking up space, there's just like, yeah, a lot of potential opening up to you. And so it'll bring some decisions to make this season. So, you know, not the worst thing to have happen. Which opportunity should I choose? And I would look at it that way. You can't really lose, you know, but like what feels right at the same time. Don't get stuck there. This is also saying don't get stuck there. And by not looking at the appearance of it, but how it feels to you, will help you to bypass certain things that may be a little bit fool's gold type of thing. Like, don't get persuaded by things that seem too good unless they still feel that way too. But by going through your heart and not looking at things at face value, you'll know the right things to follow, the right decisions to make, the right ways to go. And this is saying don't get stuck on the fence. Do make decisions. Don't hesitate too long, you know, give yourself some time to feel them out, but don't hesitate too long to the point where they just everything disappears. Then you're losing that directness, right? That yang energy you've cultivated. Don't lose that. Still be direct, clear, assertive, but give yourself a minute when there are decisions to really tune into the right one. Because there, you know, even though I said that, like, that's great, you have multiple opportunities, you can't really lose, I do feel like there are better decisions to be made when you weigh and measure things and kind of feel it with your heart. There are better paths than other paths presented. So do take some weighing and measuring there. But again, like keying into the feather heart, you know, the feather being weighed here. I wish they put a heart here instead of coins, because that's the Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess, who was would weigh people's heart against a feather before letting them cross the river. I can't remember the ancient Egypt mythology around that, but something about letting them pass into the positive other world, I guess. But it's, yeah, like, but that feather weight, meaning there's no sort of vices there. And so is the abundance and the opportunity being weighed here, when weighed against that standard of, like, are there some vices in this direction and this decision? Feel into that. Feel which one has more of a featherweight feel to it in terms of virtuousness, I guess you would say. But yeah, get your mind clear, your priorities clear, and your heart clear, and you'll know decisions to make, and you'll know how to, like, move forward with directness. And yeah, your life force is turning on this season. It's been preparing to. It's not like it just happens out of nowhere. Like I've said, it's been preparing. You've already laid the groundwork, and you probably know what I'm talking about. So, all right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If it resonated, I always appreciate the things, the likes, shares, and subscribes, and definitely always grateful to see kind and thoughtful comments. And I hope you have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are. See ya. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading, connecting you to the energy of Mabon in the Celtic Wheel of the Year, which is about a 6-week period from September 21st to the first few days of November. So we're just going to do kind of an energetic check-in. What kinds of things will the energy of this season bring your way? What you might expect due to the themes this season tends to hold. So you guys picked Scarecrow, And it says, remember that you are not alone. Move with confidence as you are guided. Beautiful. And I love, I'm going to add to that because this season has such a connection to our ancestral lines. I do kind of feel like maybe, you know, and I'm looking at these scarecrows and it feels sort of like mother and daughters, you know. So it does feel kind of like maybe some ancestral guides coming through this season for you. Okay. Well, let's read a little more from the book to get deeper into this card. So keywords: guardian, you have help, and support. Your higher self chose this card because you need to be reminded that you are being looked after, taken care of, and protected. You may feel as though there are many dangers lurking about, and while they may be near, they will have little impact on your life as a whole. You can move forward with your plans knowing a favorable outcome is in your near future. You may feel the presence of your spiritual guardians through a sudden feeling of warmth spreading through your body, a tingling on the back of your neck, or a sense of peace as though suddenly all your troubles have been washed away. These and similar sensations are your guides sending you support and confirmation that you have cosmic help working on your behalf. Trust in the cosmic forces and know that the timing may not be what you're expecting, but it will always be right on time. Scarecrow may also present itself to you when you have been facing a particularly difficult situation that seems too great to face on your own. Receiving this card is your confirmation that physical help is on the way and you won't have to struggle for much longer. You may receive an unexpected windfall, a call from someone offering support, a chance encounter, or a life-changing opportunity. Scarecrow affirmation: I am guided, I am supported, I walk in confidence knowing all is as it should be. I am safe, I am protected, I move with the ease knowing all is as it should be. Gorgeous. Yeah, and it definitely noted like cosmic support, but I do think that your ancestors are entangled in this in some way. And so whatever it is you feel like has been plaguing you, that's been a real difficulty where you feel like you lack some support, something this season is really going to help shift something about that for you, which is really gorgeous. Okay, let's get another Celtic spirit card to see if we can draw out a little more context on this. I'm just noticing the amount of, there's just like a lot going on in this card. There's all sorts of birds. There's several scarecrows. And I know the scarecrows are to keep the birds away. But I can't help but always feel like birds have some sort of like messages from spirit. And one does land on her shoulder or on her arm. It's like it's speaking a message there. And then there's an apple on the other arm of support, like of a nourishment of some sort. But anyway, what was catching my eye is like the many birds here. I feel like there may be multiple. It's sort of like cosmic, like angelic type guides, but also ancestral guide. Like there's multiple messages and guides and support coming through. I don't think this is just one, because we see multiple of everything: multiple scarecrows, multiple pumpkins, multiple flowers, multiple birds. It's like everything is in multiples. So except for the apple, but I think the apple represents that thing that you need support in, and suddenly there's like a very fruitful ripeness around that thing you need support in. Okay, let's get another Celtic And a spirit card for some more context. Beautiful Peace Walker. Peace, gentle, forward. This card just came out in another reading I did. I can't remember which one, but just recently. I'm absolutely keen into the forward here. Walking forward, moving forward, having some forward feeling with whatever has been sort of lacking, and it bringing in a new peace for you and a new gentleness. And you know, there's these, I said it in the reading too, that it came out in just recently, but it's coming through again in this reading, is like these branches coming out of the crown area. It does feel like this divine connection to source, but it's also root, you know, like trees and roots. So it's also sucking up from your ancestors, like your body is a trunk of a tree. It's also able to then suck up information from that ancestral roots realm and bring down angelic assistance from that higher reaching upper world realm. And so support coming from many directions too is what I'm feeling here. And it bringing you a new sense of peace and a new sense of being able to move forward, where before whatever you weren't feeling supported in had you maybe a little bit paralyzed. Okay, let's get an angel of light and see if it adds any more context. It may just be different for all of you, whatever that is, but the angel of, or priestess of light may give us something a little more specific about what this support is around. Precognition. Psychic ability, future vision. Well, it doesn't really give any more context into what you need support around, but I'm just assuming it's because it's different for each of you. But what it does plug into is the forward that, already was really feeling strong in me. You have a new sense of hope, a new sense of being able to see your future. Around where there was lack, you now see a future and growth and forward movement around whatever this is, or in general around your life if this thing has held you back in general. So depending on what the thing is that you have felt a lack of support in, it may just be that thing that hasn't been able to move forward, or it could be, if it's finances, then that can really hold us back in our life in general. So for some of you, it may be something like that, where it gives you a more general sense of moving forward in life and future vision of where your life is going, and a precognition, a psychic sense of what's coming because of this ability to now move forward. So plug into that as well, because you are getting these messages from the angelic realm, which can see in a much broader way, and I think through time and space as well. I think you're actually being given some visions. So the precognition and psychic ability is actually something being given to you from the other realm, some sort of like angel guide wanting you to see a glimpse of what's coming in your future. So just pay attention to that, because that's not something your mind is making up. It's not imaginal. It's not co-creative. It's actually something kind of the angelic realm wants to give you a peek of that is coming. Okay. At the same time, when whatever it is does come, it may look a little different from the vision you had, because we're only able to envision what we know, and whatever comes in the future in that forward place may not be something we've known yet, so it may look a little bit different than that precognition, but it will have the essence of it at least. Okay, let's end with some tarot cards to see if we can pull out a little bit of a story around all of this. The Green Woman, beautiful. The Green Man, wow. I was thinking before the green man came out, I was like, oh, for some of you, this is financial. It's like abundance, feeling materially supported. But then the green man came out and I was like, well, that could be romance. So I feel like there are already, you know, I was trying to specify it and already I was like, no, don't specify it. There's things, but there are like, I feel like I am being shown different, you know, typical things that people in this pile may feel a lack of support in. For some of you, it's material. For some of you, it's a romance, you know, like a kind of like a soulmate. Ace of Vessels. Whatever it is. I'm only going to do 5 cards. Whatever it is, whatever does support does come in, it will fill your heart up. It doesn't have to be a heart matter, but your heart will be filled up from the support that comes in. It will really rejuvenate your heart. There we go, the ancestor. Yeah, I was feeling it. I do think, you know, definitely some angelic feelings with this precognition, but then we got the ancestor card coming through. So ancestors are some of your guides as well. Okay, one more card. These feel more like confirmations than like expanding on the story. Oh, 5 of Stones. Yeah, I do feel a lot of you have had maybe some financial struggles and the struggle to feel like there's any support for you financially, like you're a little bit alone and a little bit stuck in certain ways. And yeah, there's beautiful assistance coming in. It's really going to make you feel the difference from feeling like that to feeling like this overflowing pond rich with, you know, fish and water and beautiful weather and, you know, just beautiful scenery versus kind of having to hunker in and protect yourself from weather and feel isolated and feel bare and unprepared to kind of make it through some cold weather with what you have. Yeah, so a real shift coming in, and it's all kind of, yeah, ancestral and spirit. Guides really looking out for you, really wanting you to feel more supported and more taken care of. And so they're bringing in, who knows what they're bringing in. These may be the different, you know, maybe a fortunate female connection or a fortunate male connection, maybe parents, maybe a couple, maybe becoming part of a couple. Something here just like really kind of changes this all for you. Yeah, really beautiful though. I'm very I feel very at peace for you guys. Like my heart kind of hurts for maybe where you feel you're at right now, and I feel peace coming in for this. So yeah, things looking up for something. Even if you don't relate to the being financial, there's something that is, the cup is going to be replenished, refilled for you. So beautiful. All right, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate the likes and shares and subscribes. And I definitely always am grateful when I see kind and thoughtful comments, sort of feel that, you know, humans there beyond the technology and numbers. It's always just makes me smile a little. Anyway, I hope you guys have a beautiful day wherever and whenever you are, and happy Mabon, and yeah, I'll see you in future readings.